everyone. So I'm going to do something new today because I am buried with personal things going on in my life and haven't had time to make art. So what I wanted to show you guys, so I have in my last number of videos used some of my own digital art for my collage papers, just to try something different, and a number of you have expressed interest either in buying them or learning how to make your own. So what I'm going to do today is show you how to make your own. So I am at a website. I'm coming up here. It's the website address that you want to go to is URStyle.fashion. So I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to get us, let me get out, let me open up a new tab. I'm going to type in, I want to get you to it so you can see what you'll expect. URStyle.fashion, okay, which is going to take you to a bewildering page filled with all of this kind of stuff. So let me tell you what I understand about URStyle. It is a place, and I'll try to scroll around while I'm talking, give you something to look at, where users, creators, can create interesting looking collages using images they find on this platform and also on the internet. So it's very common, let's just grab this one here. It's very common for users who are really into fashion to create a design based on all of the images that they find online. And you'll forgive me if I'm a little repetitive because I haven't used this platform for a long time, but this is what we call a set. Okay, here are some of the items that are used in the set, but if you'd like to see what this particular user has used, if you scroll down here and click on used in set and take a look, you can see all the items that this particular user collected into a collage to create a set. If, for instance, you were here and you saw something that you just loved, say you had to just have these earrings, you could click this heart, and that would actually add this to a section in your account. You have to create one first, but it'll add this to a section in your account where you can store images that you like. So while I'm here, I'd like to just talk about the protocol of doing such things. So say you came onto this set and you just loved everything about it, and you went down here to used in set and you wanted to wholesale grab everything that's here. That is not particularly popular on this platform. There's a lot of younger users that get very territorial. So if you're going to grab a lot of their images, you definitely want to come up to this tab here. I have to keep wiggling my mouse because I'm not sure what you can see. Come up to the comments tab and leave a comment telling them how beautiful you think their set is and thank you for sharing their images. Pretty much, so you know, any image that is found here, let's just click on this pair of shoes, is going to lead you off-site to an item. This particular one is sold out, but it's going to lead you off-site to a particular, to whoever carries. Can I get back over there? I'm going to have to go back to the tab. To off-site so that you can buy it. What they're trying to do is sell you stuff. Okay, so let me go back. Let me go back to the Home tab, which is where all this stuff is. And let's just scroll down and see if we can't find something that's a little bit on the artistic side. This looks fun. Let's see who this is. Okay. This is a kind of a creative artistic set that this particular user has decided to create. And this one likes to tell stories. So you have an option if you're creating something fantasy-esque and you'd like to write a little description in your creation area, you can do that. And so it's quite a long thing. So this particular user has really gotten into this whole entire story, which you can do as well. So you can become very, very creative on this platform and do some really fun things. But what I want to show you is, let's get back to the home page. And I want you to look over here. Now, this little icon is mine. And so I'm going to click on this icon, and I'm going to click on my name, which is going to take you to my page. This is my page, and you can make one like it. I've been on here since, I don't know, what's the earliest? When did I find this place? I always date my sets instead of naming them. 2019. I came on this set at 2019 after having learned how to create like this on a program called Polyvore, which is now defunct, and they sold to a fashion company. The fashion company basically shut down the creative part of the program, and we all lost our art. So after poking around for years trying to find out where people came, I found that URStyle is where a lot of the Polyvorians came. So I'm just going to randomly just click on this set that I created and let you see some of the images that I've added to this set. And I'm going to go down to Used and Set, scroll down, and you can see all of the items that I used to create this set. And if you look at the picture, you really don't see evidence of a lot of them. Like, as an example, let's look at this little item right here, which has got this block of black and maybe some little bit of text or something. Let's see if we can even tell where that is. Barely. Is it here? I don't even know where that is. That could be up in this area, you know, so it everything kind of disappears. This particular thing, when I brought it in, just created this sort of amorphous looking thing. Even when I brought in this woman, hold on, getting lost in when I brought in this woman who came from Pinterest, and I'm back on Pinterest again, when I brought her in, look what was left of her. Hold on. Boy. All right. Just a little bit of black and just a little bit of what's left on her. Okay? So I can, if I'm in the community and I want to share it, I can add this to a collection, which I'll try to get into later. I'm a little bit rusty on that. There are some areas along here where you could tweet it if you wanted to, upload it to Pinterest if you wanted to, Facebook, and you could also like the set. What's happening here? Delete, print, edit, fast edit. I don't know what that means any longer. Well, let's go back here. I'm going to go back to my page. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do is take you on a relatively organized tour of the platform so that you could create an account of your own and start designing things. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to this corner, to this area, and click the Create button. So let me just show you what you've got over here. This area on the left-hand side is where you can make some edits of the images on the right-hand side that you drag in. But you can publish whatever you create. You can save what you create as a draft so that you can go back in and work on it later. You can open an existing draft. You can center your design to the center of the page. Undo, redo, make it bigger, make it smaller. These are, it says what they are. Load back up, save back up. I've never used that before. It's new since I came. So this is the area where you're going to do all your design. So I always like I'm on a Mac, so I've got a giant screen. I like to make it as big as possible. But let me take you on the right-hand side. This is where all of the images are stored that people use on this platform. So just to click on fashion is already highlighted. So you can choose if you want to make a fashion set, make a cute little outfit, which are really fun to make, you can do that. But if you also go down a little bit further under embellishments, let me just click on it, and you can see that there are just some interesting looking, some things. Like this has always been my favorite. Look at, all right, I've dragged something in. If I double click it, it goes in as well. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to highlight, hit my delete key. So this item right here, which is called Wishbone, I'm going to double click on it and it places it. But look at what has happened to this image. Oh, it's placed it twice. Look at what's happened to this image. A lot of it has disappeared. So now I want to draw your attention to this area right here. You'll see a little red bounding box around this jacket. That indicates that the lightest parts of this image have been removed. If I want to see the entire image, I click on this. Okay? If I want to do something like chop this image up into pieces, and you can see the little angle line, let's click on this. Look what it brings us. It brings me a tool that you can customize the background on. And I may know most of these things, but probably not all. So if I click on this, I can probably I can draw lines and, you know, cut things out. I'm going to clear it. I can make a circle around something and cut that out. Save it. See, now I've got a circle. See what's happening right here? Watch this is to move that little crosshairs. This is to expand on the corner, which will hold the shape. Let's see what else. This little button right here is to spin things around. And all of these, oh look, you can, if you grab this top button or this bottom button, you can skew an image. Okay, but if you do the corners, you can resize it without skewing the image. So I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to clear it, and let us see what else we have. There's also a shape. If you want to cut out a particular, say you're only interested in this part of it, you can cut that out. This is skewed, so you know what I'm going to do? Sometimes once you skew it, it's a challenge to ever get it back to the right shape. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to grab this and just drag it on here again. Okay. Now let me go back in here. Let me show you one of the things that I really enjoy doing, because let me jump into and interrupt myself. What you need to know about the images that you find on this platform is that almost without exception, they all belong to somebody. Somebody has either created them, it's a photograph they've taken, it's a product image, it's something from Pinterest. People can bring images into this platform using a thing called a clipping tool from pretty much any website, unless the website disavows clipping. So if you're going to make digital collages that you would like to use in your own work, my recommendation is that you be very careful about how you use these images, particularly if your digital collage ends up for sale somehow, because like I said, these all belong to someone. Someone owns every one of these images. So one of the things, if like this particular image, I'm going to click this again. I'm going to put a dot here, down there. I'm going to keep going up and down, and look at what I end up with. At any time I can save these. Okay, so if I save this, I have got something that is completely unrecognizable, and I can layer it over something. This is also completely unrecognizable, that I can layer over something. So just be aware of that. So, you know, there's a little area on the bottom where you can scroll through here and find you can find things that you can, like I like to drag them in and see what happens to them. You know, like if I see something, this is an interesting thing. I like to drag them in and see once it takes the information away, once it becomes transparent, you can see some really interesting things that you could work into your work to add texture or color or contrast and have it not be recognizable. So I'm going to just click and let me just show you what I'm doing. Click and drag down. I'm hitting my delete key. I've gotten rid of everything. I'm also going to do the same thing here. So let me go back to this area here. When I started working on Polyvore, which like I said, is gone now, I used a lot of household images, but mostly rugs. So look at what you've got in here. Some of these are geometrics. These don't look like anybody's work. These are just regular geometrics, you know. Like, here's an interesting one. Let me just make this a little bigger so you guys can see it. It has removed the lightest part of it, but look at this, has still got some of this beige left. You may or may not want that, but look what's here. The more I drag it to the right, the more transparent everything gets, all completely together. And if I want to restore it to full, I can go to the left. Okay, but if I want to just leave a little bit of that on, I can do that. I actually like this image, and I have already saved it, so that tells me that I like it. And this one I've already saved as well. I like a lot of these geometrics. Here's another one that is a very interesting thing. Now, this has almost nothing to remove from it, but if you see me bring it over this image, you can see in the background that these light areas have become transparent. But I can go in here and, for instance, chop up some of this stuff and end up with this fun, silly thing that I can layer over something. Okay, so that's what you'll find in rugs, and the pages go on, and sometimes they're useful and sometimes they're not. Even something like this, see if I can get that. What happens to it when I get rid of things? All the background's going. You know, so even something like this, you could layer it over things. This is a fairly recognizable pattern, so this is not something I would use in my own work, and you can see I haven't even liked it up here because it's too recognizable. However, look at this. Look at this beautiful thing. This textural, beautiful thing. I'm gonna thin that out. I can mount that over here. I can resize it. I can't, let me get this out of here. It's a distraction. I don't like what I did to the top of this, so I'm going to go back in here and see if I can't. I want to straighten this out. Let's see what I did. Still don't like that, but you know, if you're a little bit more careful about what you chop up, you can get some interesting looks. But this I would like to restore it to a little bit of the color. Okay, let me, while I have 3 items on this page and not a million, what's that? Oh, that's an interesting thing. See, these things that are geometric, it's hard to copyright a geometric. What about this? Look at that pretty thing. Oh, interesting. That is lovely. I'm going to get rid of that. That is lovely. I don't know if it's going to stay in this set or not. But let me just show you. So remember when if you guys have been watching my collage videos for a while, you know that I have a lot of grid, rectangular shapes in my collages. This is why, because I learned how to collage this way using rugs and rectangular images. So sometimes I end up loading up my whole entire desktop with all kinds of things. This is a good one. I bet I already like that one. I don't, but I'm gonna get that very, very thin, and look what it does. Look at that pretty light overlay. And grab the corner and resize it. When I'm working like this, I have a tendency to be very particular about my alignment. Okay. So while I'm here and I keep interrupting myself, I want to, where is my, it's missing. Hold on a second. I'm going to center this. I'll tell you what's missing from my worktop right now. make it smaller. I'm going to grab it and move it up. Here it is. Here it is. How do I get to it? Hold on, guys. There's an area. Let me make this full-sized. There's an area that's supposed to be here that sometimes is here and sometimes is not, which, when you click on an image, it comes up. See what happened down here? See this? Throw something away, move it backwards, move it forward, do something to it. I'm not sure. Copy it. All right, so I want to let me take this image and let me just double click this and see what happened. It's moved it to the back. I'm going to click it twice. It's moved it to the front. This, I move it. It's all the way to the front. It's partially back. Now it's completely back. So it's behind this, so you can layer your images. That's the point I'm trying to make. Let's see what happens with this. It flips it. Okay, this is going to flip it horizontally and it's going to flip it vertically. I will often use these when I'm trying to hide something that starts to get really recognizable and I want it off of my set. That's where I play around with those. So in order to have that bar activate, you have to click on something. Okay, let's go back over to this area over here again. I just want to see what's in here. I haven't been in this in a long... What did I just pass up? What's that? What is this thing? Too busy for me, but see what happened to it when it became thin? If I use that, nobody's going to ever know that that's a roo-la-la image. It's going to be gone. All right, so let's go over here. Beauty is filled with beauty tools. But sometimes you might find something in here that is just the thing that you need and you don't know what it's going to do until you bring it in. Let me make this really see-through and see if I even... Okay. It adds just a little bit. You can put... there's a limit. I don't remember what the limit is to how many pieces how many images you can put, but when you can't save it anymore, it may even be somewhere in the FAQs or something like that. All right. Art. Backgrounds is something I used to use all the time. You can find some really good stuff in here that can add a lot of interesting texture. So let me just take that and see what does this turn into? It's not for me in this set, but you can see what happens. This one I have actually used many times because look at what happens. So the way that I decide, and you can see I've liked some of these things, the way that I decide whether or not I'm going to add something to my personal library is what happens to it when I get rid of things. How recognizable is it? I don't want it to be recognizable at all. I want to create original. What is that pretty thing? That is so pretty. Look at that. Look at that. Let's see. Let's just drop that right there. I'm going to resize it to fit on that shape. Look at how pretty that is. I don't know that anyone would ever know. What is that? That is something pinned from Pinterest. So it is a rug or some sort of abstract art that belongs to somebody. But there's very, very little left here when I use it. Okay. So when you click on an image and like it, I'm going to like it right here, it ends up here. Okay, there's my image right there. So any image that I have put a heart on ends up here. And I've got 12 pages. I'm just going to quickly go through them. Some of them, once I start working with them, I ditch them because they're too recognizable. But as an example, this particular thing, look at what happens to this. Watch what happens to this. These things can make some really, really interesting designs. And then delete them. Okay. Even some things like this. This is not my style. It looks too real. This is actually not going to let you make it any more transparent at all. Let's try this. Oh, it is, but you have to have the transparency hooked up. So you can get rid of things. Yeah, very, very cool. Okay. Oh, that's a lovely thing. Do I have that already? Yes, because look at what happened to this piece. It's this. Got rid of that entire background. And becomes this drippy goodness that you can get rid of or thin out. Okay, so you get the basic idea of what you can do, and imagine these things torn up. Look, even just this thing. I'm gonna center it. I'm gonna enlarge it. What I do when I want, let me just, while I'm here, the way that I save these to my system, because they really don't let you download stuff, I always create a screenshot. So I'm going to drag around it. It picks up the whole entire thing, and I put it up as high as I can get it, and I grab the corner and I bring it down as low as I can, and look what happens when I click off. Now I've got this whole entire area. So the way that I do a screenshot with my Mac is Shift Command 4. I come over here and I grab this whole thing, and it's taken me far, far away from where I want to be. But somewhere on my desktop or wherever this has been saved. What is that yummy thing? That's very fun. This you can chop up. You can chop these shapes up, you know, and just, can I do, this little pen allows me to do things like that. And I end up with this silly little red thing that I can do things with. You see the possibilities? So much fun. Okay, now let me go back over to the library side. I'm going to call this the library side. I'm going to click on My Items. What you will find under My Items is stuff you have uploaded from either Pinterest or a website. Almost without exception, mine might have come from, not really sure where did this come from, but look at what it does. Look it. I like to thin that out so I can get just a interesting little layer. Look it. And I'd like this to be in front of that, because so now this is hiding behind. Look it. I freaking love this. I'm gonna have to come back and start playing with this again. All right. So My Items are things that I have brought into the website with their clipping tool, which I don't have installed any longer. I was running out of memory with this thing, but let me take you. See my mouse? We're coming way over here, and we're going to go to these three. I think they call it a hamburger. We're going to go to those. Okay. This is some stuff over here. Okay. The clipping tool, which I'm not going to deal with right now, you'll click on this and follow some kind of instructions, and somewhere on your desktop or wherever, however your computer works, you will be able to click on that and it will choose an image. A lot of the images that I brought in I found on Pinterest, or they're my images that I brought in from my own computer. You can upload things from your computer. But what I want to show you over here is how do I do that? Notifications, collections, groups, clipper. Maybe this is not what I need. What I'm looking for is, how do I, okay. Once you create your account and put up your little avatar here, click on your avatar and then scroll down to Item Organizer. Okay. I don't want to navigate away from this. I want to save this. So I'm going to save this draft. I always save by date because I don't have time. I don't have time for remembering February 19th to 1926. And you can put in a description, and it can be, I don't know how many characters they allow, but very, very long. Okay, so I'm just going to save that thing. Now let's go back over here and go to item organizer. Yeah, I'm going to go away because I saved it. Okay. Let's see. Right now, this is my items, and a lot of these, some of these are actually sets that I created on Polyvore, which you can click on them and move them around. You can move them to someplace else, but you can't see them. You can't open them or see them or anything like that. So this is what's called my items. I've got likes. I can add them to things. I can add them to collections. All right, so my collections, I have named black and white, cool colors. Let's just click on that. Anytime I find something that is a pretty cool color that I like, that, you know, when I drag it in, it disappears and becomes something delicious, I put it there. Liked items, this is just a long list of items that I've liked. And it doesn't really look like that much, but so this is where you will play around with adding things to collections or moving them around so that you can use them. Okay, I also let me just go back. My collections, so like my black and white, I love working with black and white. Look at this crackle. There's all kinds of fun stuff in here that is just really, really fun to work with. I did find some challenges in, once I had a collection, I had a little bit of a challenge to rename it. Maybe they have corrected that since I was on this a long time ago, but you know, this is where you'll do that kind of work, like add to, remove from the collection, do things. I don't really know this part of it well enough to include it in my current tutorial, but I wanted to just show that to you. So let's go back to profile. I'll go back to my name. Okay, this is where you'll, you know, where your anything that you publish will show up here. If you'd like to add a heading, you don't have to have one. This is where you will upload something, and it's usually just an image that you find. It could be one of your sets. I'm not even. Let's just see what it leads me to. Choose a file. Takes me to my website. Takes me to my downloads. Okay, so you could probably create something here that you could upload, or you know, whatever. Okay, so you've got that as an option. You can come back over here and edit your profile, and that will allow you to do all the things that you want to do. Facebook, change your password, username, change your picture, add your gender, put a website. I don't have any of that stuff on here. I do have a little Seeker Errant Creator Books questions, so I'm getting rid of that. Okay, so I think I've come to the end of what I want to teach you. What I want this to be is just an introduction onto this platform where you can play around and make all kinds of cool things. Let me go back to, just before I go, because I'm getting ready to wind down, I'm going to go back to create. I really like that last one that I was working on. I'm going to open my drafts, and the first one that's going to be available is the one I created today. Here's one I created. Oh, look at all. Oh, I got a whole bunch of them in here. Let me just open this up and see. I started playing with this the other day when I was recording this. This is that piece of the wedding dress with just some little things overlaying on it. You know, if I like this particular thing, let me leave it there for a second. Come back over and show you. Look what it is. It's just a gray thing. I liked it transparent, and I like to clear it even more. This particular thing is something that I designed in Photoshop. It's a poem that I wrote, and I started clearing away letters just to make it look like it was kind of dripping down. What did this turn into? This is just a recognizable, you know, piece of art that someone created. It'll always return back to default, but I want all that stuff gone. I just want some stuff like that. You can upload a picture of your signature, so you can add that here. Let's see if I even have that. Maybe not. Let me just, let me try text. Nope. No, but I could drag that in. And text usually becomes see-through. Okay. So this is, I'm going to save this draft again. It's already named. I'm going to save it so I can get out. I'm going to go back to my home page. Yeah, I'm going to go away. If you don't save it, it'll be gone. It'll be gone. And sometimes, just so you know, even if you do save it, it'll be gone. So this is not, I always, if I do something that I really enjoy, I always take a screenshot of it before I leave the platform, just in case I go back in like I did a few years ago and find everything gone. The sets were here, you know, like this particular one. If I click on this, will it let me edit? Edit. All right, see these three little dots here? It opened it. Oh, look, it is individual pieces. Oh, excellent. Some of these, when I opened it, it was blank. So these are simply pieces of rugs that I chopped up using this chopped up area and made this cute design, just pictures of rugs. So, I think I'm done. Go to URStyle, URStyle.fashion. Create an account. I think you have to do that over here somewhere. It'll say create an account. Create an account. If you like any of the images that I've used, I don't care if you wholesale steal them or not, because they're not mine. They're images that I found everywhere. So if you want to go on and click on this and see all the rugs that I used in this set, look what I've got. If you like any of those, heart them and save them, and you will be able to use them in your art as a way to get started. So go ahead and steal all my images. I don't care how many likes, people that have commented. Oh, look at this yummy thing. Pretty. All right. Did I just add that on top of mine? I did. That's not what I intended to do, so I'm going to go, I don't have a choice. That is, yeah, pay attention to what you're doing so you don't get disappointed when you screw something up. Okay, here we go. URStyle.fashion. Create an account. Make art. Be aware of the fact that you're using someone else's materials to make your art. If you're very careful, you can not package it for sale, but you can use it in work that you create for sale. But you do have to be aware of the fact that if it's recognizable, like I would never use this image here, that's got too many cute things. All this is too recognizable. Sometimes I just want to design and I don't want to worry about what I'm actually pulling in, and sometimes I want to make something that I can use in my own work. That's it. I like you. Your guys are awesome. I hope you have a good time with this. If you create something and you want to post it on Community, which I still don't know how to use, by the way. I'm still trying to figure out how to use Community. Go ahead and do that. And eventually I'll figure out how to comment, because I see you guys posting stuff and I don't know how to get over there. So anyways, nice to see you. I'm going to go now, and here's how I turn off my camera right there.